either. You're
Okay.
in Region C. I apologize for the invitation that went out to everyone instead of just my region.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too.
Now
we are up on YouTube.
I'm sorry. Would Ocala and Big Sun be Region B?
Yes.
Ocala
Yes, okay.
and Big Sun are Region B, yes.
Okay, just want to confirm. It's my first meeting, so all right, thank you.
Well, I want to go ahead and get started. Hi, Dara.
Hey, Stephen. Hello, everybody.
And the first thing I want to remind everybody of is that we are going to be on live stream. So if everyone would please mute their microphones, and you'll still have availability to them, but if you would please mute your microphones, I would appreciate that, and it would save a lot of background noise as well. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and get started. Thank you, everybody, for taking time out of your busy days to attend this the Region B AGM. I'm the Vice President, Stephen Huff. If you've been involved with the board of directors or with soccer in the region, then you're welcome to be here. You're welcome to be here even if you're not. But this is mainly for the Region B. So I'll go ahead and start into my my report. What I've learned in the past 2 years about communication and commitment has truly changed my perspective and life for the better. Putting myself in other shoes and seeing things from a different perspective in situations that were what they are seeing, to see situations from what the other people are seeing, and only then what lies at the core came clearly into view. The tremendous work ethic of the people that I've been surrounded with has been absolutely fantastic, and I wouldn't take away these past 2 years for anything. And thank you for the opportunity. My 2 years as Region B went very well. I held hope that what I was learning could be implemented and support the people of Florida and change their lives for the better. I feel that I've made a difference because of the efforts that I put forward. I have been for the right reason, and that is for the Florida youth soccer players. I hold the understanding that the children always come first, and know that with that held first in mind, the decisions that I make will be for the good. I feel that by supporting the region's parents, clubs, teams, and leagues, it is vital to the expansion of FYSA. I have been involved with numerous board of director meetings, hearings, numerous tournaments, clubs, and league events, league meetings, and several referee training events that all of which made a big impact. And in the past 2 years in my Region B Vice President seat, I have personally worked with a multitude of teams, coaches, parents, leagues, and clubs to help them gain clarity on what FYSA was about and could offer them.
Yes, David, let me just cut in for a second. Some people are saying they're having a hard time with your microphone, with the volume coming in and out.
All right.
Yeah, I saw a few people put that up on the chat screen already.
How's that? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, that was a lot stronger coming through.
Yeah. Okay. Much better?
Yeah, much better. Yeah, go with that.
All right. I feel that in the past 2 years in my I've worked with a multitude of teams, parents, coaches, players, leagues, and I feel that I've made a bit of a difference. Prior to COVID, the Commissioner's Cup was running well and was very well represented. And we were all scheduled to have the finals at Ormond Beach, and the decision was made to cancel Commissioner's Cup. This meant that there would be no finals, and that kind of broke my heart. The children had practiced and played to their hearts out. With the help of the state representatives, preparations were conducted to begin settling in for a long a journey of supporting through virtual meetings, such as we have here now. I've had the distinct honor of being privileged of working with a great many soccer enthusiasts. My North Commissioner, Terry Towers, has been supporting the FYSA Board of Directors for 14 years. Is that right, Terry? You've been on for 14 years?
Sorry, I forgot to unmute. Yeah, I believe so. 14 or 16.
14 or 16?
Yeah, I think it's 2004, so that would be 16, right?
16 years. So
yeah.
I really appreciate all the knowledge, the help, and the experience that you've given to me, and I know that you'll do well with whatever you try to accomplish. Eddie Merlet thank you. Eddie Merlet is my Region South Commissioner, and he's helped me to gain some perspective. And they've both been instrumental in helping me with Commissioner's Cup and understand the region. So Mike Hyatt was appointed as my North Regional Commissioner in my 2019 AGM. So he's been in it a year, and has added some insight and perspective to my position, and helped me through several issues that I've run into. In conclusion, I will be stepping down from Region B Vice President this year in order to support the nation's space program to the best of my ability. And I will always make time, and I will always be on the other end of a telephone call to support any issues or to discuss any soccer that you want to. Soccer has been a huge part of my life and will continue to guide my decisions in the future. And right now, let's turn it over to John Stacy to give us a little bit of his insight and his remarks.
Hey, thanks, Stephen. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you perfectly.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Stephen, for the words, and thank you for your service these past 2 years. I know this is, was just maybe a progression from your prior service at the local level, and I imagine you're going to continue to be involved and support both soccer in your area and beyond. So thank you very much for what you've been able to contribute these past 2 years. These 2 years have been very obviously challenging for a number of reasons. We, as a board, with my election 2 years ago, we embarked on a extremely aggressive plan. There were things that we tried to do that we were not able to get done, but I feel like we've laid the groundwork for the new board that will be coming in here in about 29 days. And I'm very proud of what we have been able to accomplish, despite some very real differences. We've always had robust debate, and these past 2 years have been no exception. I'm extremely pleased with those that I've worked with, the board, the staff, the membership. FYSA has, we continue as a board to make decisions that we collectively feel are in the best interest of the organization to ensure its continued success into the future. there has been, over the last, obviously these challenging months with COVID-19, the board has made a number of significant decisions that have been necessary. None of us wanted to see the season canceled. It was thrust upon us, but we were able to, because of the good, sound financial practices of the past decade, the organization was in a position to be able to weather the storm and to be able to return to the membership significant dollars around refunds related to State Cup, President's Cup. My recollection is we returned almost $400,000. We were able to absorb significant cost increases on the insurance premiums from last year, again, to the tune of about $300,000. And this year we're also expecting an increase, but we were in a position to not pass on the entire cost of that increase. And so those are some of the things I'm certainly very proud of. We've also started down the path, certainly of revamping our rules and remaking the governing documents of FYSA. There's still a lot of work to be done, knowing that not everyone is on board with those changes, and really the dramatic change that I think is necessary to see this organization exist and continue to serve the players for the next 45 years of this soccer organization. The rules were last done in 35 years ago, with incremental changes along the way. But I hope that the next board will take up that mantle and will continue to seek ways to make the rules better serve the members and better serve the organization. And before I turn it over to Joel, I also, as Stephen has announced that his intention is to step down after his first 2-year term, I too have reached that same decision. I can assure you this was not an easy decision. It wasn't until last week that I came to the realization that I could no longer give to FYSA the level of commitment that is required from the president. I have probably averaged 20 to 25 hours a week throughout my 2-year term. And frankly, it became a point where I looked at my situation, looking at my professional career, my personal life, and determined that it was in the best interest for both me and for FYSA that I hand the reins off to another. We clearly will have there will be an election. There are at least 2 candidates at this time, and I look forward to a vigorous debate about the ideas. I do hope that it does not devolve into personal attacks and personal animosity, but it's really focused on the ideas that will best serve FYSA and what FYSA should stand for, how we should proceed into the future. One of the benefits of being president and stepping away is that I get to continue in a role as past president, and I intend to do that, and I intend to support whoever the next president is to the extent that I'm permitted to provide support and be a sounding board and to continue to contribute ideas to this organization. I just won't be on the top line. I won't have that burden, and I'll be able to allow someone else to take that lead. So it has been an incredibly challenging but rewarding time for me. It has mirrored an increase in responsibilities on my professional life as well. And I have, on balance, I've enjoyed it, and I look forward to see where the next phase of my life takes me. But I thank you all for the support. We may not have always agreed on things, but I hope that you know that I always did what I felt was the best thing for this organization. And I thank you for everything that you guys have done. One of the things I am certainly most proud of is that I had the opportunity this past fall to lead the search for a new executive director of FYSA. Dale Burke had served the organization for 8 years and was able to accomplish a lot. When he stepped down, it certainly created a vacuum that really required a strong person to come in and pick up the pieces and start to rebuild. We were certainly faced with a number of risk management challenges, and I was excited that we were able to meet Joel Dragan and that we were able to secure his services for FYSA. Those that have interacted with him know that he has a tremendous amount of knowledge on the risk management side, on soccer. He brings 12 plus years experience from other states and has already in his brief 8 months with us has served extremely well. And I look forward to seeing what he's able to accomplish over the next 5 to 10 years with Florida Youth Soccer. And so with that, I will turn it over to Joel. I know he's got a lot of good information to share. I wish you all the best, and I will see you one more time at the AGM, on the virtual AGM. That is the singular focus for the next 29 days for me, is to make sure that our virtual AGM goes off without a hitch, that we're able to conduct our rule discussion and votes and elections in the fairest possible manner, and to ensure that no one, that everyone who wishes to have a voice at that AGM has it. So we'll be working very hard to make sure that we're prepared, fully prepared for that meeting. Again, thanks for the opportunity, Stephen, to speak today, and I'll turn it over to Joel.
Thank you, John.
Well, John, thank you so much for the kind words. It's much appreciated. Before I dive into some brief remarks, I would like to thank Stephen, Terry, and John for, in my short tenure here, they have been nothing but welcoming and professional. This has been an excellent group of people for me to work with, and I as well am excited for new opportunities. But of course, sorry to see you guys go. I know even in my time here, you guys have made tremendous strides and tremendous achievements in just the 6 or 7 months that I've been here since January. So thank all three of you guys on behalf of me and of the entire FYSA staff. So I'm going to expand upon some of John's remarks here, and I've got a brief little agenda, a few items I want to talk on, but I promise to certainly keep it short. The AGM webinar series is something that I am particularly proud of, that FYSA is launching. Actually, it starts next week. Most everybody should have gotten a link to the schedule, as well as the sign up links either yesterday or earlier in the week. The schedule was released 2 weeks ago. This is happening, again, because we're taking everything virtual. This will take the place of those training sessions that would normally happen the Friday and Saturday prior to the meeting. So we're moving it virtual. What I want to echo to everybody is that this is open for anybody. These will be posted to YouTube afterward, and I think that we're using the GoToWebinar service, so I think we should have up to room for 250, probably more in each one. So I'm really excited about this. And just really briefly here, I'm going to show everybody the website where you actually go. As I mentioned yesterday, the link should have been shared. But here it is again. This is the page, and you can see there's a little a brief demo on how you do it. You will need to register for each one. Now that we're using this GoToWebinar series, you'll want to register for each. So right here on the FYSA website, it drops down with all the topics and register here. All you simply have to do is click the register here button, and then it will bring up really quickly first name, last name, email. In the email will be the actual link to the meeting. So please check these out. We've got a lot of great topics that are coming up. Bucks program, Top Soccer. For those of you who aren't aware, Dave Robinson is our current state of Florida Top Soccer chair, but has recently been appointed the national Top Soccer chair. we are incredibly proud of Dave, and frankly, coming from 2 other states, that the Top Soccer here is truly the best program in the entire nation. We have more players here in the state of Florida, more Top Soccer athletes than any other state in the region has combined. So we really, really do very well, and that's a big credit to Dave Robinson. So I won't go through all of these. You can see them yourself. They should have been emailed. Email me directly if you didn't get this. We want to make this a really, really big presence and an opportunity for us to interact with the membership. I think a lot of you have been on our town halls. I think we've done 4 of them now, and we're going to continue that. And this is kind of in that same vein, right? We were able to hear our membership and hear that they wanted more communication from us, and it's a really great way to embrace the technology and use it. So lots of them, they lead right up to the annual general meeting. I'd highlight a couple of them here on July 22nd, we are talking about liabilities and risk management, something that I'm very well versed in. Not always the most exciting thing, but it doesn't mention it here. But we're going to be joined by our insurance broker, the folks from Emmy Wilson. So we'll really get some expertise involved in there. So that would be one to not miss. John and I will handle that. All the DOC ones, these are running during the day from 10 a.m. to noon. There's one separate for each region. Mike Strickler, our longtime director of coaching, will be handling those. Of course, since they'll be posted to YouTube as well, you can watch these. It doesn't have to be real time. Check them out later. And then it all kind of culminates in the week before the AGM. I would consider we have some of the most important ones. The proposed rules and bylaws will be run by our former president, Marino, as well as Mike Flood. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the proposed rules. They're also out there on the AGM page. Feel free to ask questions and get some feedback from both Marino and Mike Flood. And we've got our budget overview, always important, on August 5th, and then August 6th, it all kind of culminates with the candidate forum. So leading right up to the AGM, we are very, very excited about that. Let me share back the PowerPoint here. While we're on the topic of the AGM, I'm sure a lot of you have seen that we have eliminated all of the in-person portion. I don't want to say apologize, but we like to do things pretty far in advance, and this felt a little last minute, but as these cases have risen, this just felt like the smartest and safest option for everybody. We've secured a way that we're going to be able to handle the AGM virtual. Our hope, our dedication to you is that we can deliver the same experience virtually as we have in person. So we're taking steps to make sure that all members have an opportunity to be heard. All members can voice their opinion via chat or in person. The other part of that is voting. One of the big hurdles that we have is securing the opportunity to vote virtually and to make sure that it's secure. So some of you probably heard on our last live stream that FYSA has not only gone virtual, but we're going to be using an e-ballot system. This is a third-party company. Heard a lot of feedback about people wanting to know, is it secure? Is it FYSA running it? Yes, it's secure, and it is a third party that's running the system. It won't be anyone from the FYSA board of directors. They will, of course, be involved in the credentialing process, but the actual one, similar to how we do it in person, the ones putting up the motions, the ones opening up and closing voting will be done by a third party, and that will be e-ballot. E-ballot comes highly, highly recommended. US Youth Soccer, their AGM is July 25th, and they are going to be using the exact same platform. Not only does that add some credibility to the platform, but I believe it'll also help to ensure that there are any kinks that they run into, any pitfalls. will be able to communicate with our counterparts at the national body on how we can avoid those. So we expect it to be totally seamless. It is going to be voting based on a username and password. We'll have trainings leading up to it to ensure that everybody knows how to use the platform, that everybody is able to log in. All of your votes will be automatically attributed to your username and password, and that includes proxies. The proxy vote, the credentials committee wanted me to put that out there, though we expect there to be less proxies necessary since it's not an in-person. You can still proxy your votes to anybody that you wish. That link is live on the AGM website, so feel free to find that. There's obviously no fee for the AGM this year, not that there ever was for the actual session, the business session, but obviously no fee. Click the link, register your username and password, and you should be in there. It'll, as I mentioned before, it's going to be a GoToWebinar similar to the platform that we're on here, and we will also stream it on YouTube. One thing I will mention about the hotels, if anybody had, I think we had 8 to 10 people. If you had booked your room, it should automatically be canceled, but you may want to go and make sure. As I mentioned before, the bylaw and rule proposals are available. Please go and examine those, take a look. There's a lot of nuance to it. It's a pretty long document. Mike Flood, our VP of Communication, is more than happy to take any questions. I'm very familiar with them as well. Feel free to bring any to me. Nominations are available on the website pursuant to the bylaws. I'm sure a lot of you saw Thursday, we sent out the current slate of nominations, but we are obviously still accepting them. As we get them, we update them on the website. And of course, you can run from the floor as well. So no rush, but we did get those out pursuant to bylaw 5008. And we do have a couple positions where no one is running still, so be sure that we fill out those candidates. Lastly, on the AGM, I'd like to talk about awards. Awards we're still accepting, though we're not going to annual award winners. We're talking Administrator of the Year, Volunteer of the Year, Competitive Coach of the Year, etc. We are still accepting nominations for those. Obviously, this year will be a little bit different. We will be handing out the awards. However, that's going to have to be virtual as well. We're looking at what else we can do for the 2020 award winners, but still, please, we need some more. Switching topics entirely, I'll touch briefly. I think you guys are probably tired of me talking about coronavirus. It's all we hear about these days, but I do like to remind everybody of the steps FYSA has taken. As I mentioned on our last town hall, the May 22nd order of Governor Ron DeSantis truly changed everything. We have some contacts in the governor's office and had been contacting them, but his May 22nd order ending all restrictions of youth activities really took us off guard. We weren't expecting it, and we had to react quickly. FYSA ultimately took a similar stance to what the governor of Florida did in putting a lot of the decision making at the county level. We are allowing play. We have return to play guidelines that are out there. If your county will allow you to be out there, we put the return to play guidelines, which call for 2 weeks. It's still a phased approach of socially distanced soccer that we call it, with groups of 10 or less. The stance from the entire state seems to be that we're going to allow counties to localize decision making is the most informed decision making. So we've sort of taken a page out of that book. If you can get on your fields, if you're allowed, which I know some of us of you guys in Region B are, then follow our guidelines, and you can do those things like tryouts and trainings, etc. So I'll touch briefly on the hold harmless. There was a motion of our board to require the communicable disease, aka the COVID-19 coronavirus waiver. There was a motion to mandate that for all affiliates starting in the fall season. That motion was passed. Everybody needs to be using that form. There's been a bit of confusion out there. The version that we have posted on the website does only list FYSA. We're more than happy to provide you guys the Word document to add yourselves to the hold harmless. Some people feel comfortable in that. We've confirmed with really everybody that we can that by getting the one that we have posted on the website, the PDF signed, will cover you guys as well, because you're covered under the same general liability policy. But I completely understand there may be some who want to add their names to it, and they may want to tweak the verbiage as well. All of us have attorneys on our board of directors, many of us do, or maybe even have their own counsel. So tweak it as much as you'd like. I believe we have the Word document posted as well, but if not, feel free to email me, email Jared. We'll get it to you as soon as we can. So the last thing that I'd mention on coronavirus, John touched on, are the refunds. The refund for our competitions are closed. We processed an awful lot of refunds, close to $400,000. We've done refunds for an ODP camp as well, where we've really had to look at the we had to change what it is. We were able to offer an alternative, but we gave everybody a chance for a refund as well. So those checks should be out at this point. You should have received separate checks for State Cup, President's Cup, and I believe Region A was the only one who got Commissioner's Cup refunds. But any questions on those, please feel free to send them to Jonathan and Michelle in our office. So those are complete. I'd like to provide a quick update on insurance. FYSA, we have provided this in the past when we talked about our fee increase. I imagine Eric will talk in a little bit more in depth about the fee increase after me, but really it all revolves around this same issue of FYSA insurance. So we're in the process of a renewal. Our insurance, as many of you guys know, expires on July 31st. While it may be a little late in the process for us to not have all of the answers, I assure you we're not the only state in this same boat. The insurance market is changing. It's hardening an awful lot. Eric and I both spoke about our insurance position due to some claims history. That's where a lot of the increases in your player registration fee are coming from. We are hoping to have a firm quote anytime in the next couple of days. This has been the most involved insurance renewal that I have ever been a part of. I just want to ensure everyone on this call that we are doing beyond our due diligence. We are talking with markets overseas to try to ensure that we get the best coverage at the best rates. This has been a lengthy, exhaustive process, but with specific questions, I don't want to bore you guys with an insurance renewal. Please feel free to contact me if you'd like some more information, but it's been a lengthy process. I know many of you guys are waiting on updated COIs. Yes, they're not available just yet, but they should be available at any time. We're just waiting to pull the trigger to make sure, again, we're getting the best coverage for the most reasonable rate. Finally, I'm going to talk on risk management. I hope I haven't bored anybody to sleep, but again, I feel like this is the most important thing that we do as an association, and frankly, it's where my expertise lies in what we do. So as many of you also saw, the 1920, the risk management reports were expired yesterday in GOT Soccer. Anyone who's in GOT Soccer can see anyone who was previously approved will now be put as an NA. That's anybody who applied prior to June 1st of this year. Should be now expired in the system, and that signifies to you that they really need it. Note that this is a GOT Soccer function. Just because we have expired those reports in GOT Soccer does not mean that 1920 pass cards are no longer valid. You may use those pass cards still. They're valid actually into August, but as we know, everybody starts registering for the new year on August 1st. So please feel free to continue to use those. We know with coronavirus this year, things were a little bit different. There are people who have gone to tournaments in July when they normally wouldn't, but just know that those reports are expired as of yesterday. We're to curtail back onto the insurance update, we've made some serious strides, and John alluded to it as well, on the risk management side since I've come here. And I'm really proud of all of these things. I'm going to just run over them really quick. Again, the details I'm happy to provide to anybody who wants some more in depth. But we've embraced a new background check provider. JD Palantine is really an industry leader. They do a lot of public schools. They do a lot of government work. So the check that we're doing now, opposed to a year ago, is much more thorough. This is about as good as you can get. We go back in 7 years, which is the industry standard under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, for every residence that you've lived in, whether it's in Florida or not in Florida, for the last 7 years. My background check was probably pretty expensive to them because I've lived in 4 different counties in the last 3 years. So that is just one small thing that we've done, but it's much more thorough. We're getting much better results. We have a new risk management policy, 14 pages. Please familiarize yourself. I could take the next 2 hours to speak on this policy. Really proud of it. We vetted it through our legal counsel. We vetted it through U.S. Soccer, U.S. Youth Soccer, the Center for Safe Sport. We take some really serious steps in this. These are majority of things in this policy were mandated, federally mandated, or mandated by U.S. Soccer previously. This is sort of the formalization of that policy, and this is now the one go-to place. You can see the prohibited conduct policy, everything from your mandatory reporting, your one-to-one interaction restrictions, communication, be it via email or social media, travel, what's allowed when you're going day travel, or what we call team travel that might involve overnights. There's hotel restrictions in there, things as little as goal celebrations. What type of contact might be acceptable and not acceptable. So this is really thorough. Please familiarize yourself with this. It's been emailed out, I believe, at least twice, and it's also, of course, available on the website. Please take some time to familiarize yourself with it, because we certainly have. Really, I give the board a big thank you. Passing a 14-page policy is never easy. And for those of you who watched our live stream about it, there was some really good debate over some what are small items, which could turn out to be big items in that within that policy. So credit to our board of directors that they all read it, they all know it, and gave us some solid feedback. Really briefly, just a couple other things on the risk management side that I'd like to highlight. There's new concussion forms that are available on the website. Please do not forget your acknowledgement form. Florida statute states that we must provide a form, and you guys must get a form signed by the athlete prior to participation, where the parents can acknowledge that we are aware what signs and symptoms are. So there's also, of course, the return to play form that's always been out there. And of course, the mandate that you remove people from play whenever they get a concussion. So just do not forget that acknowledgement form. It's really easy. It must be signed by the parent. We, of course, have our abuse prevention tip line, or our suspected abuse tip line, available on the website. I give this number out as much as I can, 866-607-7233. That line is available 24 hours a day. I akin it to the terrorist thing that you used to hear, the terrorism. If you see something, say something. If something doesn't feel right, this is a great outlet that might be short of calling the local police. This tip line is run by the folks at Presidium, who we now have a relationship with. They are the national leader in abuse prevention, serving over 4,000 youth serving organizations. So really proud of that partnership as well. The tip line is out there. Please feel free to call it. We will be, as we get closer to the season, be blasting that number out to even the players. So that is really somewhere that I feel we needed some help to find an avenue for people to report suspected abuse. So really proud of that as well. That's all I've got to say on the risk management side. I am always available, guys. This is what I do. I pride myself on my accessibility. I hope a lot of people have had an opportunity on this phone to chat with me, have some sort of interaction. I wish that I'd been able to meet people in person over the last 6-7 months. The coronavirus hasn't allowed it, but I do pride myself on being available to the membership, to the staff, to the board. Call me anytime. My cell phone number is out there, available on the website, available in my email address. Email me. I really pride myself on bringing that to all of you guys. So happy to take any questions. I'm not sure if Stephen wants them now or if he wants them in the end. I see a few in the chat.
We can go ahead and take some now, Joel.
Okay, yeah, sure. Happy to take anything now. Anyone who wants to write into the chat or potentially raise your hand, and I can unmute you, or you can probably unmute yourselves. Or I could have explained everything so thoroughly that there are absolutely no questions. That must be it.
Well, thank you, Joel, for helping me put this together.
No problem. And I believe Eric's up next. I'll relinquish it to him.
Take it away, Eric.
All right, good afternoon. I'm Eric Heidel. I'm the treasurer of FYSA. So I have a few things to go through. First of all, the proposed budget was approved by the board of directors on May 30th. It's currently posted on our website under the AGM section, and it's been there for about a month, since early June. If anyone has any questions at the end of my session, I'll be happy to answer those on the proposed budget. Registration fees. So we announced at our May 6th town hall and also on May 1st via email and on our website, and this is still posted on the website, the fee for registering a recreational player for the 2020-2021 season will be $13. Oh, excuse me. And the fee for registering a competitive player will be $25. So that's an increase of $3 for recreational players and $4 for competitive players. And those increases account for really the insurance increase that we experienced last year. And that was a $330,000 increase last year that FYSA covered for all of the members. And this year it is being passed on. As Joel mentioned, we are expecting a significant insurance increase again this year. It will be undoubtedly in excess of $300,000. It'll probably be about a 50% increase or greater. And just to give you an idea, we paid roughly $700,000 for insurance last year. So we will be over $1 million. There is absolutely really no question about it when you put all of our insurance together. And that is significant. And so Joel talked about some of the risk management things that we're doing to try to diminish that. And the biggest thing I can say is if everyone just kept their hands to themselves, we would have none of these problems, right? And I don't mean just coaches. These are player on player incidents, coaches on coaches, coaches on players, referees on players. It touches every area of our state, and it is not just one club that you might have heard about in the news. It is things that you've never heard about that are coming up from over a decade ago. So I would encourage everyone on the call, if you have Netflix, there's a great documentary out called Athlete A, and it walks you through the experience of all the athletes with US Gymnastics. And perhaps the most upsetting part of the documentary is that during the sentencing of Larry Nassar, they spent hours upon hours and days listening to victim impact statements, and really they could make you cry because he's literally ruined the lives of dozens or hundreds of children, and the fact that each of them had to come forward and speak is just astonishing, right? So I think what you can take confidence in is at least when we find out about something, this organization is not hiding it, even if it means bad publicity or increased cost. They will absolutely not be hidden and frankly should be hung from the streets. So moving along, we've also issued revised financial policies, and that's in an effort to account for these increased costs and try to tighten our belts and buckle down anywhere that we can. And the real focus there was reducing transportation costs as well as meal allowances and a host of other things. So it's really as simple as adding the requirement to do an analysis, right? If you're driving somewhere, is it cheaper to actually rent a car rather than paying out mileage and things like that? And so it really forces everyone into the cheapest option, whether they would really prefer that or not. Joel kind of mentioned this a little bit. I'll go into some more detail. So also on our May 6th town hall, we announced a lot of refunds. So these cover everything from our competitions, that's State Cup, Commissioner's Cup, President's Cup, and Futures. And we refunded roughly $250,000 of actual refunds there, with another $200,000 worth of credits. And then in coaching, the coaching department, which includes ODP and coaching courses, there's roughly $50,000 worth of refunds that will be going out. So the coaching department refunds will be going out later this month, and all of the competitive department refunds have already been issued as checks directly to the clubs, not to the teams, but to the clubs. So if you haven't received your check, there is a significant problem and you need to contact us. But I will add that we emailed every single club and did not issue their check until we heard back from them in writing as to where they wanted it sent. So there really should have been nothing lost in in the mail, or that went to like a prior treasurer or anything like that. So hopefully everyone's seen them. I've seen hundreds of thousands of dollars flow out of the bank account, so I know people are cashing them. But if you still have not received yours, please let us know. Touching on background checks, so the fee for background checks of $40 is not changing. But what is significant is over the years, we have received a lot of questions saying, hey, why do you charge $40, but US Club Soccer charges $18 every 2 years? Well, I think we've all learned recently that US Club Soccer was violating Florida statute and not performing the FDLE, Florida Department of Law Enforcement check that they were required to do. And now they're charging you $30 every year to do that on top of the $18, which if they're going to keep that every other year, that puts them at $39. So I'd say we were right on the money with what we've been charging for years. And indeed, we're accurate that US Club Soccer was breaking the law and not protecting our players. Let's see. So another note, FYSA did apply for and was approved to receive a Paycheck Protection Program loan. That's the PPP. They were issued by the Small Business Administration of the federal government. And FYSA received $177,000 worth of a loan. And we expect the entire amount to be fully forgiven. We've met all of the criteria that we needed to. And we did announce that we were applying for that at our April 8th town hall, which is still posted to YouTube. And just lastly, to touch on our investment reserves. So we have a managed account, which has roughly $3.5 million in it. I'm very proud to say that year to date for 2020, we are only down 0.25%, which is remarkable given the volatility in the market that we've seen as a result of COVID-19. And we are actually year over year for a 1 year period, we're actually up about 5% from where we were. And this is as of the close of Q2, so just a little over a week ago. And then we have a non-managed fund, which is largely CDs and things that we can get to a little quicker without having to sell equities. And that's valued at just shy or approximately $500,000, $400,000 to $500,000. So I'm happy to say that in my time as treasurer, we have not taken a single penny from any of the reserves, whether it's the managed fund or the more liquid assets that we have. And that includes making all of the scholarship grants that we have over the last 4 years. So we're in very good shape as far as protecting the organization and making sure that we can be here for decades to come. If anyone has any questions about the proposed budget or any other financial issues, I'd be happy to take them now.
Thank you, Eric.
Hey, I actually do have one question for Eric.
Sure, go ahead.
So speaking of the scholarships, this past year, they were substantially lower than previous years. Would you anticipate that this upcoming year would be closer to what was given last year, or is there any chance that it goes back up?
So they were not lower this past year. We gave out roughly $50,000 this year, and we gave out about $50,000 the year prior. Now this year there were more people that applied, so the individual amount was lower. So yeah, that's
what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
I understand that there's only a certain pool. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a good and a bad thing, right? It's great that we have more people applying so we can help more people. But if the pool stays relatively equal, right, that means everybody gets a little bit less. I don't see the pool increasing overall this coming year. It'll probably be about the same.
That's gonna be my next question. Yeah.
And I don't know. It's hard to say, right? There may be people that just don't play soccer because of financial issues with COVID, or we may see more people applying because, you know, they need a little extra help if they haven't totally dropped out. So,
well, let's be honest, that scholarship isn't paying anybody's fees nowadays, full fees, right? But
well, I will say that it's meant to really cover a recreational level fee, right? To get
Okay.
people out on the field. And if you want to play a more expensive competitive level, that's great. And I encourage that. But, you know, our job is really, in my view, to get them out on the field. That doesn't necessarily mean it's to win the Olympics.
so is there any chance that FYSA would be maybe soliciting from for a donation from, you know, a large corporation or anything to donate to a fund like that? Would that be something that
So it's possible. So actually, Dara, the VP right now, is working on a draft of a sponsorship agreement to try to get some more sponsorship money flowing in. But we do receive tens of thousands of dollars from Publix every year, in addition to all of the actual items they give us, like tents and chairs and all that kind of stuff. So,
right.
And we do have an agreement with the city of Auburndale and Polk County where we get some money back to the tune of either $10,000 or $20,000. So there is a little bit of money that's flowing in. I will say, well, I think we should be going after everything we can. We need to be careful about how we account for that in the budget because, as an example, U.S. youth soccer was really reliant on Adidas prior to them pulling out of the youth sports market. And when they left, they have been in financial straits ever since because they really haven't been able to replace that. So we just, I think it's great to get, and we should.
It's just an idea. Maybe we could find somebody that would be willing to match what FYSA is doing or something like that. I don't know. Just.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely open to
see if it sticks. So.
Yep.
Good idea, Mike.
I know Alejandro had their hand up there.
Yes, thank you. I'm a parent of two kids in JFC. We've been at JFC for years. I was a former coach, and it's great to hear about the great financial situation that FYSC is on, and yet both our teams for our kids are about to dismantle because of the poor management by JFC that decided to keep our dues for the last season. And so I wanted to, I don't think the scope for this meeting, but I just wanted to know who do I need to talk to in FYAC. I did reach out to JFC, and the answers that I received were pretty slim, consistent with the communication policy that they've chosen. And I have a number of emails to them that have been unanswered with questions. So I wanted to elevate it to FYAC, but I'm not sure who I need to be talking to. So I think that's why I was invited to this call. So I just wanted to just ask a question, and then I'll drop off.
Yeah, so two things for you. First of all, just so that you're aware, the maximum that FYSA collected per player last year was $21. So, just to be clear, most of what clubs collect is staying with the club, right? Only $21 maximum went up to FYSA. So
perfect.
Just to be clear, right, we're not holding thousands or even hundreds.
No, I get it. Yeah, no, I understand that.
So yeah, I would encourage you to reach out to Joel Dragon. He's the executive director for FYSA, and his email, I think he left in the comments there to someone else. But feel free to use it. I will say that generally we don't get involved in what clubs are charging parents. It's more of a legal matter for them, unless they're alleging that they've done something that violates our rules or perhaps is illegal. So definitely reach out to Joel, and he can probably steer you in the right direction. But it usually tends to be an issue between the parents and the club, but we'll help out in any way we can.
No, I totally understand. I appreciate that, and I think the question that we have is whether JFC had the right to keep our monies without our consent, and we believe they did not, and yet they did, and so that's what I wanted to elevate to you guys and get a better understanding from a legal perspective, what was the right standing or not.
Yeah, so while we can't give you legal advice for sure, and I have to be very careful because I am a licensed attorney in Florida, so just to be very clear, you are not my client. I am not your attorney. I'm not providing you legal advice. But it does, it depends on every unique situation. So there's some clubs that charge a registration fee at the beginning, and that's really it. There's some that charge a registration fee and also like a weekly training fee, and that would be a different situation than just registration. And then there's others where you like sort of pay the coach outside of the club for training and things. So we'd probably need to know a bit more about your situation before we could answer, but it really depends on how they've, worked that out.
Perfect. I'll reach out to Joel and we'll carry on from there.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sure thing.
Eric, once again, thank you very much for your time and your diligent support. I will pass it along. I believe that Alice is up next. Alice?
Yes. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well during this pandemic time of the year. I want to first thank John for his service as FYSA president. I want to thank Stephen for the time we have worked together over the last 2 years. It's been a great pleasure. I hope I was able to assist him in any way along the way. And I also want to say thank you to my special friend, Terry Towers. She will be missed, but believe me, behind the scenes, she and I still will be partners in crime. First of all, going forward, I hope everyone is getting ready for the 2021 season coming up. We're planning on hoping that we will be able to play soccer in August, as always. And Rosemary is working diligently to ensure that everyone is ready and on the field. One thing I want to remind everybody at this point, this time of the year, it's time to do your reaffiliations. If you have not already do your reaffiliation for your club, and also make sure that all your staff and your coaches begin to take their background check and complete those items, as well as your Safe Sport and your CDC. Those are the items that will ensure that on August 1, that you'll be able to print your passes and your coaches will be able to tag to your roster. So make sure they cover their background check, their CDC, and their Safe Sport. These are things that Joel has already brought out, and I want to reiterate that we have worked on all these procedures and trying to make sure they are up to standard. So I want to encourage everyone to make sure to take the Safe Sport refresher course, the CDC, and your background check. One of the things that's coming up as far as God Soccer is our partnership. There's a new announcement that will come out on this coming Thursday. Joel went over the webinar, and the first thing that's coming up with God Soccer this year is we're going to have next year, this time for our 21-22 season, is that we will have a new platform on the state level from God Soccer called God Sports. They will be rolled out in an overview this coming Thursday, July the 16th. This is one of our webinars that will be presented if we was at the AGM. We encourage all the registrars to sign up and see this overview, and we will we begin the training. One of the things that we are going to train, this will come out on Thursday's meeting. We're not going to leave you out there hanging. Starting November, the second Tuesday of every month, we will run a training session to make sure everyone is comfortable with this platform. So when next April, when tryouts start, May, when we start using and getting ready for the 21-22 season, everybody would be comfortable with the system. Do not be afraid. The legacy system will still be there in the background just for you to review. So it won't go away. You won't lose your players. We will start out fresh with the Got Sports new platform, but the legacy system will still be there. You'll still be able to review and go out and look for players if that is what you need to do. There will be minimal changes, updates to the legacy system coming up for the 2021 system, because we are concentrating and making sure that the Got Sport platform is working, and then we can add on to. So some of the things that we always want to change on the legacy system, it probably will not take place this year because we want to use that programming energy on the Got Sports platform. Also, this time of the year, we will be geared up for the AGM, and we always have multiple classes for our registrars at this event. Since we are no longer will be meeting in person this year, which is really bad because this is the time we usually talk to our registrars one-on-one and meet them and have that warm personal feeling, but we will always be there by phone or by email. But we still have our, we will still be doing our webinars as usual. Joy gave you the schedule out there on July the 21st on a Tuesday. Mark it down for all your new registrars. This is the one we normally have on Friday afternoon at the AGM. All the new registrars need to sign up for the July 21st session, and we will go over, God Soccer will be on. We will go over the procedures, answer any questions, assist in any format as we review for the upcoming season. And one of the things we must remember, if whenever you ever have a new registrar, God Soccer has webinars out there that we could do one-on-one. Please let me know or let Rosemary know, and we can set some time up for your new registrar to go over information with God Soccer, and they can do it through a webinar. Also on Thursday, July the 23rd is our advanced God Soccer class. This is where our more experienced registrars come in with the broad questions, and we go into details with billing or other things that we may want to present to God Soccer and request that this will be helpful if we have these ideas and see can they program them in for us. Also, some of the things that we've probably been wanting for a few years will come up in the God Sports platform that we roll out for the 21-22 season. Basically, that's all I have for today. We don't have anything new, but like I said, we just got the new God Sports platform coming up. If you want to have any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or to Rosemary. We are still there. We are working as if they are in the office at Auburndale and not working from home. And we always will respond back to your questions and answers as well as we can. I direct them to the proper source because we use the place that people send first to Rosemary, and then we sort of send it out to the proper source. So I want to thank you all for your service as your state representative over the past year. I look forward to working with you all again next year. Thank you.
Alice?
Yes.
What was the date of the new registrar meeting?
It is July the 21st on a Tuesday at 6 p.m.
Okay, I just wanted to get you to reiterate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for your service and your support too.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you.
Stephen, would I be able to ask Alice two very simple questions about what she just said?
Sure. Go ahead, Mike.
Come on, Mike.
How you doing, Alice? Long time.
I'm fine.
Two quick things. Are we able to give input to God Soccer on some things that we might be looking for on anything?
Yes, you can always, you can put that input and suggestions.
And then also, are there going to be changes to like the league and tournament software as well?
Yes, the league and tournament software is part of the God Sports.
Okay, so everything that's done in God,
right?
Yeah.
Right. On the new platform, there is changes to the league and tournament. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Mike, I would really encourage you to watch the webinar next Thursday, the 16th at 6 p.m. That's going to be the official announcement that we're moving to the Got Sport platform. I will tell you, it's quite a bit different, but it's streamlined from what I've seen. A lot of the issues that I've seen with Got Soccer in the past is there's 7 ways to do a pass card, and this really makes it a lot easier. The scheduling platform is a lot more robust, but it is quite a bit different. That's why we've committed all this time to training. I've been through a Got Soccer transition in the past before, and I know it will take a full year. So please tune in next Thursday, the 16th, 6 p.m., I believe, and then those trainings that Alice mentioned, the second Tuesday of every month starting in November.
Okay.
One other thing, I just got a text from Rosemary, who is watching on YouTube. She said that make sure that when you all do your CDC and your Safe Sport, that is a link to your email address, which is in your coach's account. But if it's not, make sure you email that certificate to her at the office, and she can tag it to your account to ensure that the proper documentation is there for the coach to be added to the roster.
Hi, Rosemary.
Hi, Rosemary.
Hey,
Alice,
Stephen. Alice, do you want any suggestions to come to you first, as opposed to Got Soccer or Rosemary? I mean, it have to do with Got Soccer.
Well, you can send them to Joel and I, and we will review them. And
Okay.
then you could review them and then we go forward. Because we have to remember that at this new platform, we can make these suggestions. We have to see. So I think they should come to Joel and I first because we have the communication with Got Soccer and we can roll back at that point. So yes,
Okay.
prefer that they come because then we can see and work it and manage it. And they won't be getting hundreds and hundreds of emails from everyone across the state.
Hey, Alice.
Okay, Mike.
Hey, just real quick. Hi, Alice.
Hi.
Hey, did you say that new registrar's meeting is July 21st at 6?
Yes, sir. July 21st
Okay.
at 6. All this information is on the website that Joel showed you all earlier. And for them to sign up will be nice when we know we'll be able to accommodate everyone. But it is July the 21st on a Tuesday at 6 p.m. for new registrars.
Yeah, guys, don't forget that the registration link is on the FYSA website. It should be right there on the front page, but because of this platform that we're using, you have to register and then you get the link emailed to you. So you'll need to do it more than 1 minute before it starts. And you can start registering right now for any of them up until the Thursday before the AGM. That link should have been emailed. And again, it's on the front page of the website. Look for AGM webinar schedule.
All right, thank you, Joel. Alice, thank you too. Greg, Zach, I think you're up next.
Thanks, Steve.
If there are no more questions for Alice. Okay, Greg, take it away.
Okay. I have a question. I want to know who that is in front of that. It says Joel there, but who is that guy?
I know.
It's been a long time coming, Greg.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay. First off, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity I've had this past year, and I'm glad to see quite a few people here that I do recognize. This past year has been nothing less than the most challenging time I've ever had in the past 47 years of coaching and working on various boards. The landscape of competition and politics, especially of soccer in Florida, is ever changing. I won't touch the COVID issues. It's we've already beat that to death. And unfortunately, I haven't been fortunate as my predecessor in that there were no State Cup or President Cup finals to attend and enjoy. But I do want to thank all those clubs, folks, teams, whoever, who did step up to volunteer their time, resources, and fields to make those cup competitions a reality. Without those contributions, nothing could have been scheduled. The competition staff, along with the support of the entire FYSA office, is to be commended for their hard work and countless hours and professionalism. As we move forward this coming year, obviously in a time of uncertainty, I'm looking forward to serve in this capacity this last year, and I will hope that we can implement some new ideas and competitions and make some significant contributions to the game here in Florida. Obviously, it's been extremely difficult trying to get buy-ins from all the affiliates, special interest groups, and of course, trying to understand and navigate egos, personalities, and the politics involved in all of this. We sometimes lose sight of why we're here and what we're trying to do, and we get bogged down in all the political stuff. I would, along with the membership support, I do believe we can make soccer in Florida exciting, more important, relevant, meaningful, and great again. You can probably look forward to just after we start play again. I will be meeting with our competition committee and with one of your constituents there, especially Mike Soroka, in getting some guidelines hammered out for a new competition for the state of Florida that I think everybody will take to. If you have questions, if you have a couple, that's great. If you have anything more, you can leave them to the Q&A session afterwards. Again, thank you, and look forward to working with all of you.
Greg, thank you for your time and for your support as well. We're gonna step off the agenda to a certain degree. We have two people who are running for the president of FYSA in August, and I want them to introduce themselves. And I believe Kai was going to introduce himself first. Kai, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Kai, can you hear me?
Yeah. All right.
Well, welcome. Hi, Kai.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen, and thank you for your service. I'm sure you're going to be missed, but I know you got a busy job at NASA there. So thank you for the time. Yes, I am running for president. If you want to see my 14-point plan, and you can go to, I created a website where you can see my 14-point plan and links to my podcast episodes. You can go to Kai for FYSApresident.com. That's KAIFOR FYSApresident.com, or Kai with the number 4 FYSApresident.com. Both links take you to the site and the 14-point plan. Some of you have probably followed or have seen some of my emails before since 2016, since I started to get involved. And I have, as you can tell from there, a track record to, communicate with the membership. I've created 2 surveys to reach out. I do believe that the membership needs to be more involved, that we have a lot of work to do as far as FYSA. Yes, there's a lot of challenges, as Greg focused on, and there are politics involved. I'm not a politician. I don't know, I'll be honest with you, I don't know all the rules and bylaws, and but there are other people that do, obviously, and so if I do have questions, I can look them up or talk to people that have more knowledge. I am a soccer guy. I'm in the trenches. I've been a director of coaching. I've currently a director of operations at Pinellas County United, and I am the technical director of the Tampa Bay Rowdies Women's Premier Soccer League team. And during my position as Region C VP South, I served well in that capacity with my communication. So when it comes to communication and membership engagement, I do, those are my strong suits. I do want to get membership feedback on many issues on the 14-point plan that I created. And those are not just my ideas. Those ideas came from talking to members all across the state over the last 4 years. And during my time on the board, the reason I stepped away, I know there's a couple different stories out there. The reason I stepped away from the board was to allow myself to run for president and speak my mind. And that's not always the case when you're on the board, unfortunately. And I felt that I was better served to step away. And I'm glad I did, because it cleared me from any red tape. And I'm able to, as I put a lot of information in my podcast that you can listen to, so I don't want to drag this out too long. But yes, I do believe that we need to put the game and the players first again. Greg said a lot of things that I can just agree with. And this FYSA needs to be, we need to run on certain principles, and that's transparency, obviously, that we are working on, efficiency, integrity, fairness, and inclusion. Those are all laid out in my 14-point plan. And again, there is many challenges, but it can only be done together. You know, that 14-point plan is a framework, but membership, all of us, we're the architects, and together we can build a strong FYSA. And, you know, there's a couple of things, you know, there's just challenging things about the 15-mile rule. We have 16, 17 different leagues in the state. You know, obviously that's, you know, USYS and US Club Soccer together, but there are many challenges that we need to combat and figure out how we can structure things where we can give value to the game and to our members, and also put player development back into the forefront. That's another thing. Player development is very important. That I think sometimes gets missed by all the politics, and you know that's another challenge. But I think if the board needs to listen to its membership a lot more. And sometimes I believe when I was on the board that the board forgets that, you know, it's not us versus them, that we're all together in this same boat, and we all want to improve the game. And so that's where I stand. I don't want to get into too many details. I know you guys have, you know, a lot of 15 minutes, but you can go to my website to look at the plan and reach out to me. And I don't mind having a conversation on the phone or via Zoom to discuss soccer with anyone, or if you have questions or thoughts on the 14-point plan, I'm willing to have that conversation. And the last thing here is for me, you know, going back to, I never had real intentions to run for president. To be honest with you, I didn't. And the last 2 years, the last 2 months, I got a lot of phone calls and texts and people asking me to run. And first I wasn't quite sure. And then what happened was I was on the phone with somebody that was talking to me about running. And then I received an email from the office that someone had nominated me, someone out of Regency North. And if that was true, and if I was going to run, and I took that as a sign, and I said, you know, yeah, I'm going to run. And, you know, for me, it's about creating a change. It started in 2016 when I started to get involved and engaged with FYSA, with the board. It was about creating positive change. And so far, I've already seen positive change. Back in 2017, I asked if we could, you know, live stream the board meetings. That took place, right? Now we have Dara and myself running for president, which neither of us are long-term board members. So that's a positive, right? So there's positive change there already happening. And there is a rule change that's going to come to the membership about relaxing the rule a little bit and allowing possible director of coaches, technical directors, a board member to serve on the board. It's another positive. So we're already seeing positive signs moving forward for FYSA. And so, you know, for me, I said before, regardless if I win or not, this is not about me becoming president. This is about me trying to affect positive change. And I've seen positive changes already occurring, and I hope we can continue that trend. Thank you.
Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Kai. I appreciate your time, and I wish you well in the election. Dara, your time is now.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Region B. First and foremost, hope and pray that you're all well in these unprecedented times. I thank you all you do and continue to do for your clubs, leagues, and members. I'd like to say a special thank you to Terry Towers and Stephen Huff for their service and dedication to FYSA. You guys will both certainly be missed. Big style. I've enjoyed working with you. Thank you so very much. I'm Dara Cullen. I'm currently your VP of Player Development for FYSA, and I am running for president of FYSA at the upcoming virtual AGM. I'm happy to drop my cell number in the chat for anyone that has any questions. I look forward to speaking further at the August 6th candidate forum. Given these uncertain times now, more than ever, FYSA needs stability, experience, strong leadership to take FYSA forward. Given my extensive background of being a president president of a club, a VP of a state, currently your VP of player development, a director of a tournament, a nationally licensed coach, and a player and a father of four, I'm confident that I'm the right choice. I have time and, more importantly, the energy and the passion to lead FYSA. Thank you.
Thank you, Dara.
Thank you, Steve.
And good luck with the election in the future
Very much.
in August.
Thank you.
If we can move forward, let's move into the league reports. BYSL, you have and Justin Lauer, you have the mic.
Sorry, Stephen.
All right, thank you, Stephen. Yeah, I see an EDP slide up there. I don't know if they
Oh, sorry. I apologize.
That's okay.
Alan, are you listening? Can you chime in? All right. I let him know that if he was not available, that I would read the slide or read the points. We had a conversation yesterday, and he was very adamant about being here, but I guess he's got a tournament that he's got to take care of. So that being said, just they're all excited about being in Florida. They have enjoyed getting to know and work with the teams, clubs, and leagues and FYSA partners, which is part of what they need to be in order to be a league. We've enjoyed delivering our approach to youth soccer in Florida, and we are eager to continue to build. And he sounds like he's got a lot going on, so I can understand him not being here today. But
Stephen, can you hear me?
Hey, there's Alan.
I thought
Go
you
ahead,
did great.
Alan.
No, you literally said everything that I was going to say. So thank you thanks for that. I appreciate it.
Well, go ahead and give us a little bit about who you are and where you're coming from and what your future looks like.
I mean, I think you summarized a bit of an update. There's really not a lot to talk about, and that we've really this is our first season here coming up in the fall. So as you mentioned, yeah, we're very excited to get going here. Myself, on behalf of the organization, we're all soccer people, really excited to be working with folks on the ground. There's an incredible amount of talent from what we can see throughout the state of Florida. And I think working with the technical directors, the executive directors, the coaches, the parents, the players, there's just so much opportunity. So really looking forward to seeing what we can do to make the players, put them in a great environment, put them in a position where they have opportunities to progress on to the next level. And also keep mindful that there is an opportunity for all players to reach their respective pinnacle. So it's important that while some players will go on and represent the country, represent professional sides and the like, there's other players that will go on and play in college and play in high school, and that's okay. And our job is to really facilitate and help those players reach whatever that high point is for them respectively. So we're excited to be here. We really appreciate the folks that we've had the opportunity to speak with and get to know along the way, and look forward to making more friends as we go.
Thank you, Alan. We look forward to working with you in the future as well. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
And now, Justin Lauer, he's the BYSL chair. I'll give him the microphone.
All right, thank you, Stephen. I'm Justin Lauer, presenting this as chairman of the Brevard Youth Soccer League. And also want to say hello to all the clubs out there that I work with as a referee assigner that I see on the call as well. First, I just want to thank Stephen Huff for his years of service, his 2 years. The 2 years went really fast. It seems like just yesterday we were sitting in that general session hall and we saw Stephen Huff, 73% of the vote, and all the excitement was there. Then he knew it was time to roll up his sleeves and get the work done. And it's been a really good 2 years as far as that goes. And the Commissioner's Cup last year was great. And it was headed on a good track this year until it got cut off due to COVID-19. But thanks for your support there. And we look forward to having you back supporting BYSL more at the local level. There were 2 other board members who came out of a background of BYSL. I want to thank as well Eric Heidel. He used to be the treasurer of BYSL a number of years ago. So I do want to recognize him and thank him for his years of service with FYSA. And then also Eddie Merlette, Region B South Commissioner, also supports BYSL, is involved there. And then a couple other people outside of BYSL. I know John Stacy's put a lot of hours in over the past few years, and he was always open for discussions, even if we had different viewpoints. So I do appreciate his time, so we could have those discussions. And the breakfast meeting last year at the Region AGM when we were able to meet in person. And also another individual we spent a number of hours with out at the soccer fields at various Commissioners Cup and President's Cup and State Cup tournaments is Terry Tower. So I know she'll be missed a lot due to her years of service with FYSA. So just wanted to mention those people because some of them are stepping down here shortly. In terms of BYSL, when the 2019 fall season started, everything was off to a usual start. There was a premier division that had a number of teams. The regular divisions played. We got into November and had our recreational tournament hosted by Titusville Soccer Clubs. There were over 50 teams there, purely recreational event to give those kids some opportunities since there's not really a state-sponsored recreational tournament right now by FYSA. So it's up to the member clubs and leagues to offer that level of opportunity. So we're glad to do that. For the cups in the early part of 2020, a number of the Brevard County sites hosted games for those cups and they went well. And it looked like we were off to start the spring season and we got our first weekend in and then everything halted due to COVID-19, which kind of shut everything down. So BYSL did make a decision for the members to charge 0 league fees for any of the teams in the spring season and try to help those clubs out as much as possible due to the financial constraints that were upcoming and actually still ongoing at this point. But as we turn the corner and hope to get back out on the soccer field, I did talk with tournament director Bill Quinter, and he is looking forward to hopefully hosting the 12th annual Hurricane Classic tournament in Merritt Island. Again, it's a 12th year event. The tournament's historically drawn 100 plus teams, very good competition. So hopefully that'll continue and we'll get teams back out on the field then in August 22nd and 23rd for that weekend and have a good opportunity there. Another thing BYSL is also exploring is if teams are open to play in a premier division with games early season. The bulk of the games are usually in the August timeframe to get premier division games in first, and then the teams could roll on and play into other leagues. So if anyone wants to play in the BYSL Premier Division, again, it is an open division for any FYSA sanctioned teams to get an abbreviated schedule early in the season. And these teams usually play BYSL, then they could play FSPL or some other league as well. So we'll see if the interest is still there. I know a number of clubs are still off the field and not able to play due to some local regulations in place. Okay, that kind of summed up our Brevard Youth Soccer League season. I did have some talks with Mike Goodman. I know he's going to run for the Region B Vice President spot at the AGM. So I just wanted to put a plug in there. Mike and I worked together with the Region B Premier Division a number of years ago where there was joint partnership between BYSL, GCF, and NFY. And that ran for a number of years to provide a good level of competition to teams all throughout Region B. And then the other person we worked with is a triad, as we called it, Mike Soroka. And I know he's also has intentions for the Region B North Commissioner. So both of those gentlemen will do an excellent job given the opportunity to serve Region B in those roles. So that's what I have for my report. And thank you, Stephen. Hope everybody has a great day.
All right, thank you, Justin. And I appreciate all the support and the effort that you've put in to keep the BYSL up and running and moving forward. I think that the premier division that you set forward is a good step in the right direction. So if we can move into GCF reports, Mike Hyatt, are you available?
I am available. I am here. Thank you, Stephen. Thanks, Justin. First of all, I'd just like to say thank you to Terry Towers. I'm going to miss you at the tournaments. And all. It's always fun to get together and chat and joke around and all. And thanks for all you did. Same with John. Short term as president, but appreciate you being open to speaking to the rest of us and all, because that's something that really hadn't happened in the past. Stephen, I mean, you've taken this to the next level. I am still sitting here waiting on Grubhub to get here with my steak dinner from the AGM, but you know, I'll just continue to wait. Maybe it'll get here. And I'm really happy. Sorry that your wife is sending you to the moon, since you got to get back into the space program, and she's going to send you there to get her out of your hair. But have a nice trip. But you know, just to piggy the back of Justin and BYSL, it was a good, successful year last year for GCF. Even though our numbers, you know, of clubs dropped a little bit from the previous year, we still had around 650 teams participating. We did give out here this past month 21 college scholarships for a total of $23,000. So that was another rewarding year for us as well. And to help our players even further, we're looking to start a program that'll help guide players in the right direction when it comes to marketing themselves to colleges for those who want to play college soccer. So, and at GCF, we've always been, always will be, for helping our players be more than just soccer players and to help them with their futures. So even though the COVID-19 pandemic has put a damper on the spring season, we look forward to some needed rule changes and taking us to even higher level in the fall. So when the governor gave us the green light to go back to participating, again, we scheduled as many games as we could at neutral sites and in some of the complexes that were allowed to have us. And we've been able to get like 50 to 60 games played, with this weekend actually being our last weekend to have games. So unfortunately, I was unfortunate, but you know, we're trying like heck to get as many in as we can. So, you know, like I said, we look forward to the fall season, even though it, you know, it'll bring a new kind of normal for us all. And GCF is always continuing to improve, and you know, we're proud of being one of the largest and best leagues in the state. So we're here to serve FYSA in every way we can, and the kids in our community, and we thank you all. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you all GCF for your support. I know that you've got a tremendous task ahead of you with the COVID pandemic, but I'm sure that with the support of all the members of the clubs there, you'll be able to get it back on track with no problem at all. All right, if we can move forward. In North Florida Youth League, Mike Goodman. I'll hand you the mic. Mike.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Well, then we're ready to really get the meeting going. Okay, guys?
There you go.
All right. First off, I want to say thanks to John. Great working with him for a couple years. I understand a lot of his area, because one of the things I got to do over the last couple years was start a league up in the Panhandle. So I could understand where he was coming from. I'd like to thank everybody on the North Florida board that's worked with me. Terry, especially, has been around for me for a long time, and Alice. As far as NFY went last year, very interesting. Due to the ever-changing landscape in Florida, we did not have a competitive division or competitive league in the fall last year. We went strictly rec, which was actually a good thing, because I had a chance to see well over 1,700 kids actually just having fun on the field. I didn't have to worry about a whole lot of complaints, problems. It was, they went out, they played, and they went home. So I don't know if I want to take the competitive side back again. But due to some of that, with this ever-changing landscape, a lot of times with what's going on in the environment, it seems like a lot of the smaller clubs are left by the wayside. So I've been working with GCF. I have some smaller clubs, just a couple of teams that are competitive. So I'm hoping to give them the opportunity to play just like, all the larger clubs have when all of these alphabet leagues come in. So that's the process of where we're sitting now. It'll be interesting when the registrations are done, everything else, if we do get back to playing, where the numbers stand. Increase, decrease in teams could make a big difference in forming divisions and such. But that's really not, that's a big question mark right now, I can think, as we're moving forward. So I'll be supporting, that rec side big time, and we'll see if there's anything we can do to help the other competitive teams that are around that, like I said, always, we've got a lot of clubs that just seem to be on the fringes that aren't included. So I think we can work better to bring those smaller clubs into the fold. And that's all I got for NFY right now.
All right, thanks, Mike. I want to mention real quickly that Mike will have my support for my replacement in August at the Region B Vice President position. Any questions that you have regarding anything about Region B, or any questions at all about soccer, make sure that you ask us and allow us to respond in time. We have one of the things that I appreciate about Mike is that his response time is very, very he's very responsive. So email him. He will receive my if he gets elected, he will receive the rvp-b@fysa.com account, and this will allow us to communicate on a different level now. So if you would like to, we are going to move into the Region B North Commissioner. Once again, thanks, Mike. I appreciate your time. We're going to run into, we've got a single, is there anyone online that has a nominee for the Region B North election? Mike Soroka has already been nominated. Is there any additional nominations? Hearing none, I will move forward to supporting Mike Soroka as the new Region B North Commissioner. I'm sure Mike will do well. He has a very good mind for it, and I appreciate all of the support that Mike's given me over the past 2 years, and I've learned a lot from Mike. Mike, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I think probably the majority of you know me, had conversations with me. For those of you that don't, my name is Mike Soroka. I have been on the board representing Stetson FA for a little over 10 years. Been on the board of directors as the chief scheduler for GCF for the last 7 years. This will be my 7th year. In that time, throwing a lot of stuff against the wall, try to make a lot of changes. I'm very into innovating and asking a lot of questions, trying to figure out how and why we can do something as opposed to why we can't. I'm really looking forward to working on some of the ideas that some of our presidential candidates have put forward, some of the things that are important to me, the competition side in particular, creating a pathway from the local leagues and allowing a lot of these teams to play their way up as opposed to applying for the higher level leagues. They should be both. You should be able to do both. And in my opinion, you should be able to earn your way. Another thing is, I don't want to get into too many details, but obviously the 15-mile rule is something that I think that we need to address. Obviously, I'm not in favor of a club just being able to show up at Austin Tyndall per se and just push out the club that's already there. I'm not in favor of anything like that, but there's got to be some common sense approaches that we can get to a lot more of these groups that are interested and want to participate in FYSA, a pathway in. A lot of my club at Stetson, we field calls all the time from people. Hey, we want to play. How can we get in? What can we do? And fortunately, I have to tell a lot of the people no, because I've got to put my name on them. But there's a lot of groups that are worthy, and they're 14.9 miles from somebody, and it's unfortunate. So there's ways that we can. I really think that we can have another approach to how we get more people in, because really that's what I'm describing there is a closed system to some degree, and that's unfortunate. That's not what we should be about. We should be trying to figure out how we can get these groups in, and perhaps maybe have a little bit more skin in the game than writing a $1,500 check and that's it. There's a lot of other criteria and things we can ask these new groups to contribute, for the good of the game, and prove that they actually deserve to be where they're at. So I'm looking forward to working with everybody. As you know, with a lot of the clubs that participate in GCF, I'm constantly reaching out to every individual club. For those of you that I haven't spoken with, you'll be hearing from me. So everyone in Region B, there's I guess a lot of the clubs more in Jacksonville area. Even if you're not participating in FYSA as much as you used to, I'll still be reaching out, seeing if there's anything I can do. Maybe we can find some common ground on a couple things. So thanks everyone for, well, I guess nobody actually voted for me, but seeing as how there was no nays, I appreciate it. And I look forward to working with everybody. Thanks.
And thank you, Mike. I know that you will do a fantastic job at the North Commissioner level. Let's move forward. I think that is that it? We've reached the end of our meeting. Is there anyone who has topics that they would like to discuss? I figured this would go fast, but not this fast. So
you did a great job facilitating. It's the quickest meeting we've been in a while.
Well, no lunch, so
yeah, but
an hour and 20-minute break in the middle of this one.
I sent you a sandwich. Maria's my wife's making it right now, so you're just gonna have to be patient.
Email attachment for the sandwich.
Okay. Well, with that being said, I will once again appreciate everyone that came on board, and I want to say a special thank you to the state office, the individuals at the state office, Michelle, Rosemary, all of you. You have Jonathan. You have all been so supportive of my mistakes. Let me say that. You've been supportive of my mistakes and led me in the right direction. So I totally have to tip my hat to all of you guys. Justin Lauer, you've been instrumental in leading me in the right direction and trying to help me with gain areas of insight that I needed to maintain. Congratulations, Mike Soroka, for your once again for your nomination. And I want to say again that Mike Goodman will be will have my support in August for my position for the Region B Vice President. There's no one that I know that's running against him right now, and I don't think that anyone has his perspective. So I think that he will do a good job as well. If there's no more questions or any comments, we'll log off.
Yeah, I'd just like to add also to piggyback on that, Mike Goodman. I think that you would make a fantastic person for that position. And Stephen, you did a fantastic job in that position. And I know Mike will as well. And with Mike Soroka in the north, you know, it's Mike's rule. So, you know, I think everything's looking up and looking pretty good. So, Mike, I'm behind you, buddy. So,
I think we're moving in the right direction. All right. Once again, Kai and Dara, I wish you well in the election. I'll send it back to Joel. Joel, if you can, I thank you for what you've done, and I appreciate your support. I think that moving forward, if anybody needs to talk to me, I'm at the end of the telephone line. Joel, once again, we can take down the streaming video on YouTube, and we